Hello friends, Creative Venus here and welcome to another beautiful tutorial. In today's video you will learn how to design this beautiful animated isometric design, and this is a very unique concept. I hope you will enjoy it. So stay tuned. So guys, let's learn how to create this beautiful isometric design. So I have placed a color palette at the top, if you can see there, and now let's first design the background, and for that we will insert a beautiful image, and I am using the stock image that comes preloaded with Office 365 version. And here what we need is some really technology related image where there is some texture at the background, and the texture should have those uh, neon kind of effects like this one looks really nice, and you can see these connections here going on. So that's the kind of background we need. Now insert a rectangle over it to create an overlay, then fill a gradient color. So I'm using the colors from these three circles that I have created. So this is my color palette. So here I'm trying to create a nice gradient, and we are using two stops gradient here from top left to right bottom. So that's the angle we are using for the gradient. Now we insert this small rounded rectangle and fill gradient color in it. So we want to create a desktop screen here. So we are taking an inspiration from like iMac. So that's the kind of desktop we are creating, that's the kind of machine. And you can see we have increased the depth here to create an isometric realistic look and feel. And on the line we need to create a nice gradient of the whites and the grays. And now we can change the material as well to make it look more metallic. So also you can change the lighting there under the 3D effects. Now duplicate it and remove its isometric angle and reduce the depth to 0, and remove its outline as well. Now we have to fill the white gradient fill on both the gradient stops. So you have to check that which gradient stop is towards the top, and we have to increase the transparency to 100% for the bottom gradient stop. So in this case the first gradient stop is towards the bottom, so we have increased it to 100%. And now go to insert shapes, draw a circle like this, and we want to subtract this rounded rectangle with this circle to create a nice reflection effect like this. So create this oval and rotate it and the subtract. And now we have to change its rotation to this angle so that takes the shape of an isometric design, and place it above this screen. And then you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard, the up and right arrow keys, to adjust it properly, and you can zoom in the slide to perfect the arrangement. Now you can further adjust the gradient stops to make it look more realistic. Now we need to create a stand for this screen, and we will use this trapezoid shape. And once you draw it, use this yellow circle to change its angle, then make it isometric using 3D rotation, and then increase the depth to like 11 to 15%, and make the top a bit rounded by using this top bevel option, and then fill gradient color matching the background. And you have to adjust the parameters here after resizing. So let's first adjust the gradient here, and you can try different angles. go to 3D effects option here, reduce the depth, and change the material to metallic, and reduce the height to minimum, and then further adjust the depth here. So you have to try these different parameters like lighting, material, depth, and gradients until you get the satisfactory results. So that's what I aim for. That's why I keep on trying and changing these parameters until I get the optimum effect, like the light on this subject and the height and the angle, everything. So now once you have placed it below the screen, make sure it is at the center of the screen. Now duplicate it and remove its depth here, and we will use it as a shadow effect, a 3D shadow effect. So make the fill solid and then remove its bevel effects and pick an eyedropper tool, or you can change its color to black and increase the transparency. And then send it to back, I mean behind this base of the screen, and for that you have to send it to back by right clicking and then place it like this. So I think white is looking fine here. The white color is better. Now we have to create some small elements that will surround this main infographic design, like small charts and pie charts. For that we have to create this rounded rectangle, and we have to decide what we have to fill here. Let's go with the white and remove its outline, duplicate it like 3 more times, increase its height every time you duplicate it because we want to create a upward trend in this chart, and again duplicate it. Now we have these 4 rounded rectangles, and now select all these, align to the top and align to the bottom, then distribute horizontally and then reduce the height, and then overall reduce its size by pressing shift and drag it from the corner, and then you can further adjust height and width as per the requirements. And now we have to change its angles to make it look isometric, and for that you have to go to the 3D rotation, and then we have to check where we should place it. I think here it's fine, next to our iMac desktop. Increase the transparency a bit, and now go to insert and insert this shape here. So this is our pie chart. Fill solid, remove outline, and we have filled white color here. Go to 3D rotation and change the rotation like this and duplicate it to create a nice shadow reflection effect, and increase the transparency and bring the white one to the front, and now you can see this 3D effect, and give the same treatment to this upward trending chart. So that's what we need here. So we are creating these small elements around this main iMac desktop to make it like graphic rich, and then you can use the arrow keys as well to adjust the distance between the main graphic and its shadow. So now we have these 2 elements ready. Now go to shapes and then insert this rectangle shape here, and draw it on your screen like this, and we are creating axis for the charts like the one you create in your maths class, the x-axis and the y-axis. So we are kind of giving the same treatment here. In the background we are creating a chart effect, and for that we have removed the fourth node of this rectangle and adjust the width, and then change the cap type and the joint type of the line to round, and go to 3D rotation and make it isometric like this. And now you have to select it and place it here. You have to send it to back behind this screen. For that you have to select it first. Sometimes you might face challenge in selecting the objects on an isometric plane, and for that you can go to selection pane at the top. If you want, there you can see all the items in the layered form like you see in Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator. So these are the layers, and here you can select all the items if you find it difficult to find any item, and change the line color to white and slightly increase the transparency so that it blends with the background, and now duplicate it, slightly reduce its size, and let's see what we can do here. I haven't figured out what we can do here, so I'm just trying to see what else we can do. Yeah, let's change its angle and let's make it more like a 3D plane. So I have placed it here, and I think it's looking fine here. Now we have to see what else we can do here. We want to make it more graphical, need to add more elements. Let's add one more chart here and slightly increase its transparency so that it blends with the background. Go to insert text and let's write Creative Venus. So till now, if you have liked our video and if you think it's worth to watch, then please hit the like button. Then you can subscribe to our channel as well. If you want to support us, you can join the membership, so that will also help us. Now go to text options, fill white color, change its 3D rotation, make it isometric. Let's place the text here. I think it should come on the desktop screen, but let's keep it here for a while. Increase its depth to 1.5 so that it gets a nice 3D effect. If you zoom in, you will notice that. Now let's create a new element here, and for that increase the rounded rectangle, remove its line, fill white color, change its 3D rotation like this, and place it here. So here you can see we are focusing on some minute details. So this is the control panel of a desktop. Like here you can adjust the components or the parameters of the monitor, like volume or brightness or something like that, the power button. So we have placed that rounded rectangle on the screen. Now we have to create a keyboard layout, and for that you have to insert a rounded rectangle, and we will use this layout to create a nice visual here. And in this visual we will add a small pie chart to showcase the stat or number, so you can use this to showcase the actual facts or the achievements. So now we have added an inward shadow, and you can see, and also you can change the shadow color here, increase the blurriness and adjust the transparency as well. Now fill gradient, and I think radial type of gradient will look much better here, and you can adjust the gradient stops on the left and the right to create this beautiful effect. And we have picked the background color as a gradient here. So our base is ready, and now we have to place the numbers here. So here's the way to do that. First you have to insert the text box and write the actual number that you want to showcase. So for example, let's write here 95%. Now you have to change its font size and then change the font type. So we are using Montserrat black font here, and we have increased the character spacing. And now we have to adjust the color here and change the gradient type to linear, and go to text options here and change its rotation to make it isometric, and then slightly increase its font size. Then go to text options and then go to text effects and increase its depth so that it has this 3D look and feel. And let's change its color to white. I think white has more visibility on this gradient background. And for the outline, let's remove its outline and fill a gradient outline here, and let's pick a nice gradient color here, blue on the one end and the purple on the second gradient stop. And let's place it here like this. Go to shape and then insert this circle, reduce its width, and then change its orientation, make it isometric, and place it here like this. Slightly make it bigger so that it fits and it takes complete space on this keyboard. And then remove its outline here, and let's pick a nice color here. I think white looks much better. Slightly increase the transparency so that it blends with the background, then duplicate it and then reduce the transparency to 0 so that now it has this shadow effect. And now insert this shape and let's change its color to gradient matching the background, change its 3D rotation like this. And I think we should add some depth here, but let's first make it 95% with the help of our guesswork, and then increase its depth like this. So now you can see here we are showcasing 95% as a text, and with the help of this pie chart. So that's how you can try to showcase small little visual stories here. So let's fill the solid color to create a beautiful outline here, and fill blue and purple gradient as an outline for this pie chart. Now it's the time to add text here to showcase or to present this number, like what this number is all about. So you can write the number here, like for example it's a target that you have achieved here. So change its font type and then slightly increase its character spacing, and then make it all caps and make it isometric. Change the color to white so that it is visible on this gradient background. So with the help of isometrics you can create beautiful stories using the default shapes, and you can create custom shapes. All it requires is your imagination. So now let's insert some more technological components like servers and some connections, and for that let's insert this circle, make it isometric, remove its outline, and then add some depth effect to make it look 3D cylindrical shape. I think this size looks fine. Change the material to metallic. Let's fill the gradient color in it. I think let's use white and gray metallic gradient look and feel. We have reduced its size, so slightly adjust the depth once again, and now select it and place it here. And now we need a base for this, and for that we have to insert this circle and go to 3D effects option and make it isometric and fill the gradient color matching the background. So that we can use format painter from the keyboard and apply the same look and feel here as well. Now we have to bring to the front and send the base to the back. Slightly adjust the gradient stops if you want. And now we have to add one more effect here, and that's a light effect, light background. And for that you have to insert this rounded rectangle and place it over this metallic ring, and then align it to the center of this metallic ring and remove its outline. And then we will fill a gradient color linear type from top to bottom, and we will use the red color at the bottom and white at the top, and then we will increase the transparency of the white. I repeat it again, we will keep the white color at the top like this and red at the bottom, and increase the transparency to 100% for the white, and move both the gradient stops towards the middle. And you can adjust these manually as well. Now bring this metallic ring to the front, and now you can see it's looking beautiful, and that's what we want here. And you can further adjust it as per the requirement. So I've changed both the gradient stops to red. I replaced the white one with the red, but it hardly creates any difference, so you can keep it white as well. Now group it all together and place one here. So we are reusing the components here and saving our time. That's what is more important here. Now insert a rounded rectangle and duplicate it like 4 times or 3 times. We need 4 such rounded rectangles. Now select all these together, remove their outline, apply gradient fill here, and we will use these in the background of this the iMac we have created. I know it's a long video and you have to be very patient while watching this video, because these isometric components create time, demands more time to create, so you have to be very patient, but at the same time you must enjoy creating such components because you want to tell your story. So now you have aligned all these rounded rectangles. Make sure these are equally distributed, then go to 3D rotation under effects option, and then make all of them isometric. But once you ungroup these, their placement will change. So like we have placed all these 4 rectangles here. Now if you ungroup by pressing Ctrl Shift G or right click and then press ungroup, then you can expect such kind of behavior in terms of placement. Then you have to manually adjust, and the best way to adjust them manually is by creating an isometric line here like this. So we have duplicated our the chart that we had created, the shape for the chart, the axis. So now we are aligning all these rectangles on a straight line, but in isometric world. And now we have to make these 3D. So I've changed the angle to 45 degrees for the gradient fill. Let's go to 3D format and increase the depth here. And let's add a gradient line here. And now increase the depth. And you can see these look like some small screens. And now you can adjust the gradient line of these small rectangles to give it a metallic finish here, but these are overlapping, so you have to select first, second and third, then bring to forward, then select first and second, bring to forward, then select the first one, and then again bring to front. So now all of these four are in place, and you can just do some small adjustments to make them look perfect. You can change the material here, the lighting here. Make sure whenever you try to use the lighting effect, so it should match with the overall light effect on your isometric components. It shouldn't be like the light is coming from left on one component and from right on some other component. So now let's create some reflection, or you can say some shadow effect. And for that, let's duplicate one of the rectangle, and we have to remove its the depth or everything. We just need a plain rectangle here, so let's make the depth to 0 and remove its outline, and then change its color to black or dark blue, whatever you feel like, but it should be dark. And then increase the transparency, and then place it behind this rectangle and bring it to the front. So let's create 3 more copies of it. So we have created one extra, remove it. Now bring all these 4 3D rectangles to the front and manually adjust these small shadows here. So you can place these shadows behind each rectangle. So once everything is in place, you can zoom out and see if it looks fine. If it doesn't, then you can further adjust the values and the finishing, shadows, outline. Now let's add some icons here matching the theme. So as we are following the technology slide, so you can place the icons related to the technology you want to showcase or your product portfolio. Now select all the icons here and then change their orientation to make these isometric, and then manually adjust and align with the background rectangles. And you can add some nice glow effect as well if you want, but it should be very light. And you can reduce the size here, like you can keep it like 1 to 1.5 points, then you can increase the transparency. so the glow should look minimal. And now we have to duplicate one of these lines here and then flip it horizontally and then place it here. So we have kind of created a complete 3D plane here. And now go to selection pane. If you remember, in the beginning we have created a nice reflection layer over this desktop and we have kind of lost it, so we need to find it under the selection pane here. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I have to click on certain elements here to see which one is that. It's behind this desktop, but we can't select it because if we try to select it, then the desktop will get selected because it's in the front. So here I have to make a guess, or you can rename these layers as per the component you are creating, so that way it will be much easier for you to find the layer. I guess it's this one. No, yep, it's this one, freeform shape 15. So we have to move it above the desktop. So now you can see it's visible. Now comes the most interesting part of this isometric, and we haven't done it in any of our videos, and I'm not sure if you have seen something like it before in any isometric design in a PowerPoint, where you can place a video on an isometric plane. So that's what we will try here. So we have duplicated the desktop screen here, and now we have inserted a video and we have downloaded it from pexels.com, and there you can download the videos for free. And let's slightly we have done some color correction here using the default options, and then from under effects option we have changed its orientation to isometric and place it above the frame that we have created. And let's place it here, and now you have to manually adjust its height and width, and you can zoom in on the slide to place it perfectly over the desktop, and you can use arrow keys on your keyboard to move it up, down, left or right, and you can use these automated guides on the PowerPoint, so you can zoom in to manually adjust it. Now you go to playback option and select start automatically and loop until stopped. So now the video will keep on playing. Once it is finished, then it will start again. And this is how it will look. You can always press the slideshow mode and you can watch what's looking fine, what's not, and then you can adjust those items. Now you can use this screen as an overlay layer, remove its outline, and we will place it above the video that we have created. But before that we have to increase its transparency on both the gradient stops. So bring it to front and place it like this, and then you can adjust the transparency levels to see if the background video is visible, and if it's not, then you can further increase the transparency levels. So that's how you have to try and test. And now go to insert and insert a rounded rectangle once again, and make sure this time it's bigger in size, and remove its outline and fill a dark blue color and change its orientation like this. So we are creating a base for our isometric design, and increase its height and width. Now reduce its roundedness by moving this yellow dot here and then send to back. Then click on this gradient shape, then again send to back, and increase the transparency on this background here. And now you can see the base is looking fine here, and you can adjust the placement and everything. Now select the keyboard here and let's add a reflection effect here like this, and you can see it's looking really nice, and increase its size. And the same goes with the base of the desktop machine that we have created. Go to effects and then click on reflection, and you can select any reflection point you want. Slightly increase the blurriness, and now you can see it's looking really beautiful. Now let's add some text here, and it's the text that you want to write here. So we are just writing some dummy content, and you can use the same font that you have used on your design. So we have used Monsterrat here. Increase the character spacing and the font size, and place here. I think we can keep the character spacing to normal and then change the font size to white. Slightly further increase the font size, and to make the text look more beautiful, I make the first word bold, and then you can place it either at the middle or towards the top. I think here it looks beautiful and fine and perfectly matching with the overall scheme of things. Now if you see this tells a complete story about the technology. It also showcases the numbers and the background. It's appealing to the viewer, and that's all you need on a beautiful slide. Now one last thing is remaining in our isometric design, that is some effects behind the iMac screen that we have created. For that, let's insert a new slide so that we can create it easily. Insert a new line, fill gradient stop on the line. Use blue color on the first gradient stop and purple on the second gradient stop. Increase transparency on the second gradient stop, and change the gradient type to path. So there are 4 gradient types: linear, rectangular, radial and path. So we are following the path gradient style. Now duplicate the line multiple times, like 10 to 15 times. Select all the lines and then align middle, no, not middle, align center, then distribute vertically, group them together. Go to 3D rotation, change the orientation. Lines are not visible, and for that you have to increase the width here like this, and you can reduce the overall width of the stacked lines, and then you can paste the lines here, and then select the lines, and you have to send the lines to behind the screen. And we can use the selection pane here, because now we have so many components, we need selection pane to move the items to the front or the back. And now you can see the design is almost complete, and once the design is complete, you can adjust the parameters and make it look more good. You can fine-tune the components, and then you will end up with a very beautiful design. So overall it takes 25 to 30 minutes to create such kind of design if you have concept in your mind. Now we are just looking for that reflection layer once again. So now with the help of selection pane, I have moved it to the front. So I'm just doing some minor fine-tuning, so that way our design looks more beautiful. So I hope you like this design. So let's take a look at the final output here. So I have placed some more layers at the top with some gradient effects to make it look more vibrant. So this is the final output, and you can download this from the G Drive link provided in the video description. And do not forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and you can share this video on your social platforms. And we will see you guys in our next video with some more beautiful content as always. So stay safe, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye bye.